This episode of Boss Rush After Dark is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn more about Boss Rush Media's family of podcasts, head on over to bossrushmedia.com or patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast here on the Boss Rush Media Network thing. I'm your host, Corey Derrick. And alongside me tonight, Mad Pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Good job, Corey.
Thanks. I'm doing my best. I wore sleeves, though, long sleeves. Sorry, Laurent. Why am I apologizing to Laurent? He's the one that's not here.
Yeah.
Laurent. Also joining us is PK Power, Pat Klein.
Hello. I'm also not wearing a tank top muscle shirt.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were also not wearing pants.
Well, you can't tell.
I got excited. I also am not
shorts.
wearing pants, so it's fine.
Well, what's it? Pants-free Wednesday. Oh, that doesn't
That's
sound
right.
I'm wearing
It
my
is.
new Cleveland Browns shorts.
It's after dark. We don't wear pants during this podcast.
Mhm.
It's true. I hardly wear pants at all.
Well, I will say now that it's down in the 30s, weather-wise, I do tend to wear pants.
Yeah.
I just turn the heat up.
When I was in college, like my freshman and sophomore year, I would go to class in the winter in like a t-shirt and basketball shorts and flip-flops.
Well, that's when you're young and hot-blooded.
Yeah. Now I'm like cold all the time. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. Unless I'm outside during the middle of the summer, I'm like always cold.
Quick,
Which is awesome.
Quick round robin and definitely an after dark topic. What do you sleep in bed in? Because, there's different kinds of people, right? There's people that are in like a full pajama ensemble with socks. Some people don't sleep with socks. Some people XYZ. Like some people like to sleep naked. Some people just want to sleep in their you know what I'm saying? Like there's different. For me, I tend to wear less clothes in bed. I think it's just a tactile thing. I like the feeling of my sheets. Okay. I won't say how much less, but generally less in bed. But it is that cold where I will now sleep in a shirt and pants in bed, and that's very unlike me.
Yeah, you wore a shirt and pants to bed when we went to PAX. Sorry.
I don't. Anyways, my bedtime, I wear some. I usually just wear basketball shorts and whatever undershirt I was wearing that day. So
That's actually the same thing I wear too. I wear my undershirt that I have on and the pair of shorts I literally jump in the second I get in my house.
How about socks?
No.
I'm in no socks in bed. It's weird.
I wear socks to bed, but usually they come off during the middle of the night. So,
Sexy.
Well, I have this weird thing about socks. So I have no shows, but I always get them a size down. So like they really don't show. And then they always like roll up underneath my like the arch of my foot. It's just like, I don't know why I keep doing this. I'm just fucking weird, but it also like, I don't know why I keep doing it, but I have to keep doing it because that's how my brain works. So,
I don't like socks. Like I take just like my pants, the socks come off the second I walk into the door.
yeah,
It's all about the bare feet.
bare feet, like a bear, or just
I got to build them calluses. I can't have them soft little women's feet.
oh god,
Just
gotta
as
be-
nature intended.
That's right. Dry,
soft women
strong,
feet,
sturdy,
that's what Pat
callous.
has.
Well, you know what? That's a great segue into the topic tonight. Look at you, Pat. You're on the 8 ball or whatever that phrase is.
I think it's just on the ball.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I just work here. Yeah, Stephanie, you brought this topic to the table, so you introduce it. Tell us.
Yeah, sure. So we're gonna just have a little fun, or poke fun, I should say. Heaven forbid people get offended because they get offended at everything these days. Of gender stereotypes. We're not getting political. It's more of the old school, like, oh, women are crazy, men are stupid, women are bad drivers. What are some other, like, stuff like that, and kind of, poke fun at it. We
I got a good
gotta,
list.
yeah, we gotta laugh at ourselves sometimes, and that's the whole point of stereotypes, right? Like, oh, they're stereotypes for a reason, but we also know that they're not always true. I kind of thought about that a lot lately because of just some silly Instagram videos and past partners that genuinely believed every single woman is crazy, and I took very strong personal offense to that. And the video of the hot crazy scale, which I do find hilarious.
That is
Have you
such a
guys?
true scale.
Mhm.
I love that episode in
Hmm.
How I Met Your Mother. It's so good. That show, amazing, by the way.
That was a great show.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So I think that let's kind of start with that. As the female, I will start with the female stereotype, and it's the oldest one in the book, right? That women are crazy. And for those that don't know about this video, I'm sure you can literally YouTube or look up crazy hot matrix or crazy hot chart. And this guy, in a very kind of logistical scientific manner, makes an X and Y axis of like how hot a woman is from 1 to 10 and how crazy the woman is 1 to 10, and like kind of goes to like where's the hookup zone, the no-go zone, the marry zone. And for a 9, what is it, like a 9 or a 10 hot, but like 1 to 2 crazy is a unicorn, they don't exist. And stuff like that. So, and I genuinely want to know, as guys, like, do you feel that women pretty much are crazy? Hot seat. I'm not gonna get offended.
In my opinion, if you look at the list of ex-girlfriends and people I've dated, about 70% of that list is pretty crazy. In my opinion. The thing is I don't think all women are crazy. I think there is a stereotype for a reason sometimes. And I'm not just saying this stereotype, but I'm saying every stereotype exists for a reason. But, I mean, I've dated some pretty crazy girls who, like, either would, I don't even know how to describe some of them, would spend my money without telling me, even though we weren't, like, had joint bank accounts or anything. Like, they, one of my credit cards had all their furniture. They refurnished their apartment
Jeez.
with it, and some of them like used to come back to their apartment like super drunk and whatever, and started fights, and that was not always fun either. A lot of fighting usually. People, or exes, used to fight with me because I worked at a restaurant and I worked late. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Right. I've been trying to get other jobs. It's not like I'm not trying.
Right. It's not like you're working a straight out 9 to 5 and you come home at 10. Like
Yeah.
that's different.
Yeah. So that was always a challenge. Also, I find younger people have that crazy stereotype. It applies to them more than someone who's, around our age. I think definitely some younger ones, and also like a lot of jealousy also makes, that is part of the crazy, I think, when you bring that up. So yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. But I also know that a lot of that is, we kind of talked about this on the Bossers podcast, but hyperbolic. And, sometimes it's not as bad as you want to think because you're angry or you're upset, or, you want to go take a walk and scream and punch a wall or something, right? Like, that's a lot of it's hyperbole because you're in some sort of relationship with this person that you want to be good and it's not, which, on that point, I've been upset with people too that made me not only feel crazy but seem crazy. Like one of the girls I dated in college like made me so mad at one point because I don't even remember the reason, but like I punched our dorm room door and busted it through off of its hinges, and like I had to have my dad come help me put it back on the door. So I may also be crazy. But
Male stereotype, violent.
yeah, I mean,
Mm.
I'm not
Pat,
that way
what do you
anymore, but it
think?
was, I also am not in a bad relationship.
What do I think? Well, there was a girl that dated me for a little bit because she was an ex-girlfriend of one of my best friends who ran to Alaska to get away from her. And so she thought by getting close to me would get her close to him.
Ooh. Mm.
I literally had to call the cops on this one.
Mm.
Because, I threatened to stop talking to her and she would start calling me frequently. And funny thing was, the police officer was at my place when she called again. And, I like handed him the phone. He's like, "Hey, this is the police. You need to stop calling this guy." She's like, "Well, what about this kid? What about this guy?" It's like, I don't even know who this other guy is. I
Oh
don't
my
stop talking
gosh.
to. Yeah, it's like she was she was crazy.
Yeah.
She was also one of those people that would always be like, I'm pregnant, and she wasn't really pregnant.
See, that is not cool. Not cool at all. That's
Been there.
The
That is-
pregnant manipulation and then somehow magically lose the baby.
Yeah.
why? When I say that too is even just in a friendship level, because like, I don't know, I'm not saying, like, I would say generally speaking, many women have more female friends than males, and males have more male friends than female. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I'm getting at is most of my life, almost all the female friends I've had, I have since lost. The most stable, enduring relationships that I have are with men. And I've tried to explain this to my therapist. I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to be sexist against women because I am a woman. I don't hate myself. I don't hate my gender. I love being a woman. Women are great. But I find it a little funny that all my female friends have just either snapped on me. Like there's one that I took on a trip to New Hampshire. And when we came back, and I just wanted to check to see if we covered all our expenses, and I forgot she paid a $50 fee. She flipped out on me and accused me of trying to scam her out of $50 and started screaming at the top of her lungs and just continued to try to call me a scammer. And I was afraid for my life with her. Yeah, one started screaming at me in the middle like of high school, like just started screaming, just screaming and just completely lost it. Another one just decided to stop talking to me because I just feel like guys don't do that. And it makes me sad because I see like other girls having their girlfriends doing girls' night, but every time I try to attempt to make a friend with a female, they tend to have some sort of psychotic break, and then it doesn't work out between me and them friendship wise. But dudes, they're just so easy and chill.
Yeah, I'm kind of the I guess it's the same thing, but the other way. When I was way younger, like most of my friends were girls, and I have an easier time
Oh,
getting along with girls. And
really? Okay, well, this is
yeah,
good. So
yeah. I don't know why. I just always related to them better, and even when, well, not now, but like before kids, or like after Riley was born, but like I always found myself interacting with my wife's friends more than their boyfriends or husbands because they seem like douches, to be honest. Maybe that's a me thing. But yeah, I always felt like I had more in common with them and would rather be friends with them, you know.
you're a unicorn.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way, Corey, where I feel like I've had more female friends than male friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason because is that I did not have a good relationship with my dad. where my mom was the one who primarily raised me. So I feel like I feel more secure in like trusting with a woman versus when I'm like hanging out with a guy. Like I feel like I
Interesting.
could talk to them more than I can with another man.
Well, there you go. See, like I love hearing this because it makes me feel better about my situation that because we're all human. We're all tempted to sometimes give in to stereotypes. So this helps me feel a bit better. Everyone's scenario is different.
Yeah. I also, I guess another stereotype that I was thinking of before, we started talking about this one was like, the funny one of the guy who just wants to like watch football on TV and is like, make me a sandwich. And like
Did you
that kind
know
of,
that if a woman gets angry with you, shit, what was it? I was gonna say you give her a knife, her instinct is to go make a sandwich, but I don't think that's correct.
Huh.
yeah. But I mean, it just goes to that whole, like, I guess, like 1950s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like typical like housewife with like the done up hair and the red makeup and the, whatever
The
polka dot
apron.
dress she's wearing, and she like brings like the steak or the pork chops over to the guy with like mashed potatoes and bread and butter and everything that's pretty terrible for you, and why that generation seems to be the most unhealthy,
Mm.
minus the fast food generation, I guess. But I just always thought that was kind of like, I don't know, I can't really believe that because like my parents always worked. I mean, my mom would have like different jobs and whatever, but my dad worked all the time, and like my mom would take care of me during the day and my dad would take care of me at night because my mom had a night job at like the Disney store or like the Hallmark cards or something. And that's kind of, I don't know that life, but like, maybe that's a me thing, I don't know.
No, I did know people that had stay-at-home moms, and they were richer people. They could afford to do things like that. My parents were divorced, so both my parents had jobs, and I went to daycare as a kid, and yeah, I never got that true family like. No, okay. There's a time when I did, and that was at the end of high school. I was like figuratively adopted by one of my friend's moms. Like every Sunday night, I would go over to their place, and they would have like a wonderful like dinner spread and family like prayer and things like that. It's like
Aw.
maybe like a game. That was a very unique time of my life, but for the most part, it's like I never really had that true family experience.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't have that either, and I'm glad it kind of stayed in the 50s for the most part. But I will say it kind of it's shifted. Like it's not completely gone, but shifted in a or it. What I'm getting at is what I'll still see is that a lot of child rearing, either responsibility or pressure, stillish is on the women. But again, like not all. Like I'm seeing a lot of stay-at-home dads, so I'm even very soft on this take. But I see a lot of comedians, both male and female, kind of joke where the mom can fail at being a good mom very quickly, whereas if a dad watches the kid for 5 minutes or is caught outside, pushing the baby in the stroller, everybody fawns over the dad and saying how good the dad is. I don't know, like I think it's comical because we're just poking fun at stuff. So I think that kind of still is simmers around a bit. But like I said, I know a ton of stay-at-home dads now, so thankfully it's not as bad of a stereotype.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be weird to be a stay-at-home dad. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody that does it, but I always have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Like I'm just one of those people who can't sit still, and I always have to be doing something. And So I don't know if I could do that. What other stereotypes? Oh, the other stereotypes is like, it's kind of less of a stereotype now, more of like a 90s, early 2000s thing, but like, and before, I mean, I guess way before that too, but women have to look a certain way, like their body has to look a certain way. And, it's kind of gross now, obviously. I mean, it was
Women are
gross
high
then
maintenance.
too, but like,
High maintenance, yeah.
yeah. And, they always had to have their makeup and, eat like 5 calories a day. And I don't know.
Speaking of makeup, there's that. Oh, sorry. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's like really unthinkable now, like, especially after like the Me Too movement and, all this kind of generational shift, I would say. So
that's getting better. Although I don't know, when I'm on Instagram or social media, I see a good portion of the female population that invests so much in makeup to look like a Kim Kardashian clone, and it makes me very sad. Like, have you seen those videos where like women pre-makeup versus post-makeup? Like some of that stuff kind of freaky. But that's one stereotype too, that women will take forever to get ready and men are ready in 2 minutes. That's a stereotype that I hated, and I've always made a point to be able to be ready, clothes, makeup, and everything. And I've proven in my last 2 relationships that I've actually gotten ready faster than the man.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I don't take very long to get ready when we have to be somewhere, unless it's somewhere like really nice, like if we have to go like I guess like a wedding or something. Not that we've been to very many, but getting ready is not really that difficult for me. But also, like, I don't need to put makeup on or do my hair because I don't have any, and all that stuff, which I don't care what my wife looks like. I do appreciate when she does that sometimes, though, when we're going somewhere, because it makes me feel like we're young and hip again. So
I would say I'm average about 20 minutes, but that's just if I'm not like rushing to basically wake up, bathroom, shower, brush my teeth.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't have.
And then I try to save 10 minutes for Zelda, and we cuddle.
Oh, see, it's the important stuff in life, not putting on 10 layers of makeup on. Can't do that. All right. How about stereotypes with kind of this is kind of an old stereotype: men not crying or refusing to be emotional. Hand in hand. I feel like the crying thing has definitely gotten better. Like, I don't really hear that stereotype as much, but I still feel like men are held to a standard where they should not be emotional, or being emotional is for women. But perception's different. Pat, I see you shaking your head. Tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think that stereotype still stands strong. I fully believe that, as a man, you're not supposed to, like, especially cry. Like, you don't want people to see you cry. And if you try to, like, tell people exactly how you really feel, they leave you. They're like, that's too much. Learn to deal with it and never see you again. But maybe that's just my experience.
Corey?
I
cry a lot. Well, I guess more than the stereotype.
Cry baby.
Yeah, I know.
JK.
I don't really. I've been better about talking about my emotions because of my wife has encouraged me to, for the most part. I don't think it's weird. I just have a hard time, especially like when I am like feeling something. I have a hard time getting words out when I'm feeling something, and I don't know how to explain it correctly, and then I get frustrated with myself, and then
so when you suck it in, you do something else, Corey.
I know,
like a real man.
I know.
I was gonna say, do you feel like not intentionally, but do you feel like growing up there was that kind of expectation or learning to keep your emotions in, and you're only able to do so now, like you said, because of your wife, which is a positive experience to help kind of battle what you've been growing up all your life? Or am I just making some bad guesses here?
No, so I grew up in a community where like all the men were super tough. Everybody was like all the dads were like blue collar workers or sports coaches or, teachers, because those were like the only three jobs in the community. But it always felt like everybody was kind of forcing you in one direction, specifically the sports and football direction, because I mean, I don't know if you've seen Friday Night Lights or not, but that was our community. Like football games were like the biggest thing, and if you weren't playing football or starting on the football team, then you were like an outcast. So it was, and to play football, you had to show that you were tough. Like dumb things like when it's cold out, don't wear sleeves to show how tough you are, and you got to be in a weight room, longer than everybody else and break all the records and do all these things and
grunt really loudly.
Yeah. That's
the only books you should be reading should have naked pictures of ladies in them.
Kind of, yeah. It's so weird that I can't ever imagine going back to something like that. Like it was weird. And it was a community where everybody was like, if you weren't part of like that community, you were kind of an outcast as well. And it was a big Mennonite community. And like, if you weren't, if your last name wasn't Yoder, Miller, or Slayball, you weren't included. Because that town, like the Miller family, like runs the town. They own almost everything. The hardware store, the Hartville Kitchen, which is like, a big thing here in Ohio, and like the Hartville Marketplace is run entirely by the Millers and Hostetler families. And it's like, if you weren't part of these families, like, or, part of the Mennonite community, you were kind of outcast as well, unless you were like, had something special about you, like, I don't know, being good at football, pretty much. And it was hard because like I had a lot of mixed feelings, because like I took a lot of art classes in school too. So like the athletes weren't like, and this is not saying like I didn't have any friends. I had friends, but like overall, like the football players didn't want to be my friend because I was in art classes, and then the art kids didn't like me because I was an athlete. And it was like this weird like middle ground that I never really felt like I fit
not
in
accepted
anywhere.
by either.
Yeah. And so like that gave me a lot of mixed feelings and I guess emotions and stuff, but I wasn't ever allowed to show it because that's not tough. And then like, I tried to like, I remember the one time I tried to tell my parents, or my mom, I guess, because like I have a good relationship with my dad, but we don't really open up about anything. It's usually about the Browns or the Cavs or, something else very not deep. And so, I just remember like the one time I tried to tell my mom stuff that was happening, like she just like didn't believe me and just told me I was having a bad day or whatever. I was like, no, you don't understand. But then I just stopped trying to explain things. To this day, I still don't tell them like how I'm feeling, because that's just how our relationships are.
Same.
So,
I won't tell my mom how I really feel ever.
Yeah, I won't either. And like, she
Because
didn't.
then I know she worries way too much. It's like, then that makes me feel worse, and it just,
yeah. And then like other times, like I wasn't very good at school, but especially like in the middle school kind of area and up into like 9th grade, I guess 10th grade. So like instead of like, especially like math and science. So instead of like putting me in a class where I should be, my mom thought it would be a good idea to put me in like AP and honors math and science
Ooh.
because she thought if I hung out with smarter kids, I would be smarter. Like that's not how it works either.
Not in that way. No.
No. So I really struggled trying to be good at school, which I mean, I graduated with like a 3.1, so I'm not like so broken up about it. And I ended up okay, but at the time it was like, I don't know, it was very hard. But yeah, that's
Makes
kind
me
of
wonder, like, I've been kind of taught almost kind of more to behave like a man. My parents would really scream at me if I started crying, like, stop crying, don't be a baby, don't be a little bitch.
Your mom's weird.
Yeah, well,
well, you
and then
also have like the cultural background too, which is different from ours.
true. But I guess my point is eventually I came to a breaking point in my mental health. So I'm just surprised for the previous generation, especially for men, to be able to hold in and not quote unquote have emotions. How come? I mean, some have snapped, I'm sure, but how come the entire male generations in the past never snapped? Because I couldn't handle it mentally. I don't know. That's not a real question. It's
I would say like if I was alone and I was upset, I would snap. And I, like that was always something in the back of my mind. I was like, if you're gonna do something, make sure no one's around because that's gonna make you feel and look even worse.
okay.
So that
Good
was,
point.
yeah.
Distractions. I think video games kind of separated me from what was happening. And that and naps now. Naps are a good way to get away from it. I think that's kind of what prevents me from like snapping because, again, I don't like showing emotions outside public and,
Okay. Got it.
distractions.
Side note, every time I hear the word distraction, I think of Halo multiplayer. Distraction.
I don't get it.
Well, since you mentioned sports, how about at least one more, depending on how we're doing on time. But since you mentioned sports, there's kind of like that opposite of like women either are not good at sports, whether it's playing sports, which we all know that's BS, or they're not as big of fans of sports like men are because there have been times I'm a big Red Sox fan. Like I'm not as big on the football as I am with baseball, but like I consider myself a serious Boston fan, especially the Red Sox. But then when I'm around like a big group of people and you get those like really masculine men and I say, oh man, I love the Red Sox. It's almost like they go to test mode. They're like, oh yeah, do you know who pitched in blah 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 in 1982? Like they start quizzing me. I'm like, well, I didn't say I was an expert. I just say I love the Red Sox. I do know my fair share about the Red Sox, but like I don't like it whenever women kind of show interest in sports. It's either she just wants to look cute in the jersey, or she's a poser and doesn't really know all the facts.
Must also happen when you get called a gamer girl, right?
Good point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really? You play video games?
Yeah.
Yeah, which ones? Oh, that's not a real video game. You got to be playing this and get good and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what do you play? Stardew Valley, stuff like that.
Oh, just Call of Duty, really? What's your kill loss ratio?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That'll do it. Yeah, where was I going with this? I forget. I had a thought and then I lost it.
Sorry,
everybody.
just had to do with sports and men quizzing women on their validity of their fandom. Or we can move on to another stereotype. It's all good.
Yeah, let's pick another one. Let's do another one.
Women are bad drivers.
Ooh. Well, Have you ridden a car with my wife? The oh shit handles there for a reason. I'm
Seriously, what is it with
I
you
know.
guys? Men freak out in the passenger side when I drive. Well, Pat, maybe
Uh,
you. Don't talk,
that
Pat.
is true. That is true.
Yikes.
But that's also Boston.
It's a
So
Boston thing.
I didn't really believe there was like really bad drivers out there until like people literally were getting out of their cars in the middle of the street and just like walking somewhere else. It's like what are you doing? It was scary. Okay.
Yeah, big cities in general, driving around in big cities is scary to me. Like like New York and Boston is like super like ah.
I wonder what about the stereotype of women not being good drivers it makes the stereotype. Is it the fact that they think we're indecisive? Like, is it in the indecisive stereotype? Like, or we just drive bad? You know, there's
Like
a
you're
difference.
distracted. You're putting on makeup in the mirror. You're on your cell phone.
Guys are always on
I
their cell
think
phone.
that's like the idea.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. That's yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I have never ever experienced that that stereotype.
Mm.
I did go on a car ride from Milwaukee to Chicago, and the girl who was driving was like driving at like 90 miles an hour, and she was driving with her knees.
I used to drive with
And
my knees
I'm
while I was
like
eating.
looking at it's like she hardly was doing anything else with her hands. She was literally like driving with her legs, like on the
Well,
bottom of the steering wheel at around 90 miles per hour. That kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Pat, you should know women have weak upper body strength.
That's why you gotta
That's
put
scary.
just like right there in 12 so that you're,
Wow.
you let gravity push it down.
Jeez. No, I don't think I could do that. Yep. Corey, I'm the same way. The only time I'd ever drive with my knees is if I'm like desperately hungry and I need to eat something or whatever.
Yeah.
And even then, that doesn't last very long.
It's
And
like
it's
that
usually
is like 2 seconds off the steering wheel to quickly like shovel some food in and then
yeah, it was like usually it was like something like Taco Bell or something because
I
you need to
cannot-
hold the paper and the taco or the whatever else the thing the paper
I
that
can't
you get
even
The
wrapped in.
stay
wrapper?
clean with Taco Bell in home. I can't imagine what eating Taco Bell in a car is like. I can't do it unless maybe it's a soft shell taco or a burrito. But
Oh, yeah.
if I can't wrap it, then there's like no way that all that shredded cheese and lettuce is going everywhere.
See, I kind of stopped doing the taco thing and started doing the quesadilla thing.
Ooh, okay.
Man, quesadillas, Taco Bell quesadillas, top tier.
Now I'm craving it. I'll have to get it tomorrow.
Sorry, it's so good.
I like the Mexican pizza. That's always been my go-to.
Yeah, wasn't that gone for a while and then they brought it back?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And now it's back for good.
Is it, or will they take it away like the McRib? And every time it comes back, it said this is its last hurrah.
Yeah, I think they learned their lesson. I think the pizza's back for good. Just like the McDonald's bagel sandwich.
Man, I haven't had McDonald's breakfast in forever. That sounds really good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I love fast food. It's bad for you, but I love it.
Yeah,
It's addictive. It's addicting, I should say.
it is. Try not having it for like 4 months, 5 mons.
Well, by then, shouldn't you have broken the addiction by now?
No, because
What
every
do you
time.
mean?
Every time I drive by work, there's a Arby's and a McDonald's and a Burger King and a Taco Bell all in the same like intersection.
Yeah, but like, isn't it? It takes like I think the scientific number is it takes approximately or minimally 21 days to break a habit, and you're
Yeah.
way past that.
I am, but I don't eat it. I just smell it and really want it.
Oh well, smelling it.
Man, I got to tell you, I really miss Arby's mozzarella sticks. They're so good. If you haven't had them, you should try them. Very good. So, man, I'm always hungry. Now I'm really hungry.
Well, you're in good company. Today, all I could think about all day was food. Like, as soon as I was done with lunch, I was thinking about when I could eat dinner. I felt really bad at that moment. I'm like, why am I thinking about dinner? I literally just scarfed down my lunch.
Yeah.
My dinner was good. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love to eat, and that's like the hardest thing about my life right now is like I can only eat at certain times of the day. I can only eat so much, and then once you hit the limit, you're done. It really sucks.
I wanted to have a bowl of cereal for dinner tonight. Then I sniffed the milk, and it smelled weird, despite the fact that it should have been good until the 8th. But it just didn't smell right, and so I had to have dry cereal.
What kind of dry cereal?
Strawberry banana Cheerios.
Could be worse. There's some dry cereal that you're in decent company. I had pumpkin Cheerios for my dessert. Dry pumpkin Cheerios.
Those weren't bad.
Well, I'm just a pumpkin slut. Sorry, go ahead.
My favorite cereal is Frosted Mini Wheats right now.
They're good.
Yeah, but not like the big full mini wheats, like the mini wheats that are like real tiny, and they're so covered in frosting. It's amazing. So good. Side tangent. Do you guys pour the milk in first or you pour the cereal in first?
Cereal first.
Thank God.
It's cereal first. There's only one exception. I do milk first, and that's when I don't know if I have a full bowl of milk or a full thing of milk left to do it, or enough milk to do a full bowl. So then I will pour the milk in first and then the cereal, so I get the cereal milk ratio just right. Because if you have too much cereal and not enough milk, it just doesn't work well.
Yeah, I think
that's the only time.
I think I've done the milk first by accident when I was like too tired and I wasn't paying attention, and then I was very mad and disappointed at myself that I did.
I was tempted to actually put water.
Ooh.
I was like, I don't know if this is going to taste good, and I'm afraid.
That's a bold.
I knew someone who did use water. He swore by it, like using water instead of milk, and it's like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't have the strength.
Jeez. I did know someone who had milk on the side and would like scoop cereal and then like have another bowl of milk and like dip the cereal in the milk before he ate it because he didn't like soggy cereal. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Cereal. It's just cereal.
Now that is high maintenance.
Yeah.
One of the best things about having the cereal and the milk is to have the bowl full of flavored milk at the end.
The best. Oh.
Especially when it's like Fruity Pebbles or Cocoa Pebbles or Cocoa Puffs.
Yep.
So good. And there's Captain Crunch, who wants to be good but just slices open your mouth so you can't eat anything else for like
Oof.
3 weeks.
Those crunch berries.
I like the crunch berries without the yellow. It's like Oops All Berries or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, so good.
I was disappointed. I did not find a single box of Monster cereal this year. And they even introduced a brand new Monster cereal that was like caramel apple.
What?
Oh my.
Yeah, there's a new Monster out there. It's a zombie that, had caramel apple as the flavor.
That sounds delicious.
And I couldn't even find Count Chocula.
All right. What's wrong with that picture?
Count Chocula. What would you get? Blueberry instead?
I would have done blueberry. That's actually my favorite.
What's the other one besides the strawberry one?
Frankenberry.
Yeah.
Blueberry. There was a chocolate werewolf. I forget who he was. No, not a chocolate werewolf. What was the werewolf?
I don't remember.
I don't think I ever was allowed to have that cereal, so I don't think I had that cereal. I should just go and rebel as an adult now and buy all the sugary cereals I was not allowed to eat as a kid.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Are there any other stereotypes we should talk about before we put a bow on this one?
I mean, we already talked a bunch, so unless you feel so inclined to cover one more, because stereotypes are never ending.
Yeah. Yep. Sure are. All right. We'll get out of here then.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Thank
thanks for
everybody.
indulging in this topic with me, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Glad you had a topic. Oh, man. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast here on Boss Rush. You can check it out every Saturday, 2 weeks early on Patreon for just $1. Patreon.com/BossRushMedia. Get it 2 weeks early. Be ahead of your friends. Tell your friends. Patreon's #1 podcast. So, yeah, Stephanie, Pat, thank you for your time tonight. As always, LaRon, don't come back.
Oh my gosh. I tickled my cat's foot and she went to bite my hand. Sorry for listeners who heard me hit my mic. Good night.
Yeah, good night. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you later.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.